Yes, yes, the Eagles Super Bowl parade was absolutely amazing for everything I've wished for. But clues showing of who's returning in free agency, it's only going to come down, guys, to three moves. And we're about to talk about them right now and why it makes sense. Howie Roseman might not have a tall order as we all expect going into this offseason. So let's talk about it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. This this video is sponsored by BetUS, and I hope you guys do check them out. If you guys have not, we have a lot to discuss here. It's nice to see that even after a second championship in Philadelphia, that the Eagles fans are still grateful for everything that's coming to them, and that's an awesome thing to see. But we have a lot to discuss because after these parades, we are into the off-season program, and we're about to see what Howie Roseman has up his sleeve. Obviously, with the 25 free agents for the Philadelphia Eagles. And honestly, guys, there were a few clues from this parade that potentially some guys could be coming back, and we'll be talking about some other things that the Eagles need to watch out for as well. And I think the number one thing going into everything, okay, is Zach Baun. Okay, Zach Baun, really the last two times, I think the NFC Championship game, now winning the Super Bowl, hugging Vic Fangio, and really just dedicating himself to just thanking him of what he's really turned Zach Baun into as a role player with the Saints, a nobody with the Saints, from an edge rusher to an outside linebacker, and finally playing inside linebacker in Philadelphia on a 1 year, $1.6 million deal. Okay. Now we've talked about this a million times. Zach Baun is the number one signing for the Philadelphia Eagles to re-sign. Ben Van Simmern has a knee injury right now. Nakobe Dean is not coming back with the patellar tendon tear by October, November. And Trotter Jr. is in the wings right now waiting for his opportunity. And obviously, Oren Burks is a free agent and could potentially get re signed if he wants to come back and win a championship next year. Zach Baun is the number one guy. Okay. Look, from what we heard a million times over and over again, Zach Baun said at the parade, I love this place. This man does not want to go anywhere else. Unfortunately, Zach Baun is not Philadelphia Eagle homegrown. He wasn't drafted here, but we've seen, guys that are going to become Philadelphia Eagles the rest of their careers, like Saquon Barkley, that are kind of creating their own roots in Philadelphia. A.J. Brown seems like he's always been drafted here in a weird way. Going forward, some guys kind of create new roots for themselves from old teams that never really put too much effort into them or respected them enough while they were with their original teams. And we have a few players that have been in those situations, either guys that haven't been wanting to get paid or guys that haven't played well with a franchise beforehand. Eagles take them in with good coaching behind them, and look what happened. Zach Baun becomes an all-pro, a Pro Bowler, and just a fantastic season. He was snubbed for Defensive Player of the Year, fifth on the list. So there's a lot rolling on this free agency. Okay, it's going to be a lot of restructure. There's going to be a couple of restructures. We're going to free up some money. I'm not worried about cap. I'm not worried about any of that. Zach Baun is the number one player because you're kind of depleted right now. Okay, you don't sign Zach Baun, then you're going to have to, hit the reset button, and you're going to be going with Trotter Jr. And really, who else is there? Because guys are coming off injuries, and half of the guys aren't even playing until late next season, like Nakobe Dean. So this isn't just because of the Nakobe Dean injury. Zach Baun, I think, regardless, had to have been signed, but I think this makes it more promising that he should be signed, and hopefully before he hits the market, they will get something done. Okay. I understand, like I said, he's not Philadelphia homegrown, but this is the first franchise that's actually put a lot of work into him as a player. And I think that really means a lot going forward. I know there's not a lot of loyalty within the NFL, but with this team, there has been loyalty from players and wanting to stay and try to work things out. And I think that is one big move that you really do have to make. So, really, the past couple games, obviously the NFC Championship to this, winning the Super Bowl and at the parade, man, he has been overly emotional and just saying, man, I just want to be here. And this will be the first time he'll be in contract negotiations for big money, obviously at 28 years old, something like that, where you can have Zach Baun for 3 pretty good years. So that's one thing I kind of want to state in this video because I thought it was really important. Now, Brandon Graham was obviously at the parade and I think had one of the most best speeches in this parade and had both the Super Bowl trophies on the side of him, which was great because he's been here for two of them. Okay. Now, he did say, on the stage, obviously he was, talking about the team and just what it takes to win and, just his career in general. But the most important thing he said was this. He said, I'm so thankful for my kids, my family, so thankful to be a part of the organization. You guys made me what I am today. He said, quote unquote, only problem I have is this season is that it's over. We getting ready for next year. Okay, he said we. I don't know if I know from the parade he did state that he's still trying to figure out what he's going to do. If he went into the sunset and said, whatever, I'm retiring, good for him. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion in Philadelphia, and that's a great thing. But I'm sorry, but at 36 years old, and I didn't even know he was like 36, 37. I mean, is still playing at a high level. Should have had 2 sacks in that Super Bowl. I mean, when he was coming off that Rams game with that triceps tear, he was playing absolutely amazing. There was no he was just disruptive as hell. I mean, he looked like he was 27, 28 years old. I'm not even kidding. Obviously, he was a late bloomer in his career, but let me tell you, man, I think Brandon Graham could play for one more strong season with the Philadelphia Eagles, add some depth there. Okay, so Brandon Graham potentially coming back could be a fantastic thing, guys. Definitely fantastic. And by the way, if you guys haven't checked out the Shakedown podcast merch, definitely go check it out. We have the most iconic photo of Jalen Hurts. The main thing t-shirt is out. It has been selling like wildfire. Go get it as of right now because you're definitely going to love it. We want to put this out, and we hope you really do enjoy it going forward. And we have the polyester, spun polyester. This shirt is, there's a lot of padding, a lot of cloth, and this is a much more expensive shirt, but it's very good as well. The shirt's taking a lot of time to make, and so this is a limited time offer shirt. So definitely check it out. Make sure you read the description about sizing for this T-shirt in general. Going forward. And if you guys haven't checked out some of our other stuff, the World Champions gear, which we have as well. So we have World Champions hoodies, t-shirts, all of that great stuff. Check out the entire store for the Philly Shakedown podcast. Appreciate everybody that's been ordering. Thank you so much. Now, I think what's connected to the Brandon Graham thing, which I think is really interesting, I think Josh Sweat, okay, will get re-signed. I honestly think there's a really good chance here. Milton Williams, it doesn't make any sense because Jordan Davis needs to get paid. He'll get paid at a cheaper rate. And then Jalen Carter's going to get a lot of money. I don't think keeping Milton is even possible because of what you're looking ahead towards the future going going forward. You know what I mean? I mean, Milton at the Milton Williams at the parade was like, oh, I would love to come back here, blah, blah. Of course they all want to come back here, but this is what happens when you're a free agent. When it comes to Josh Sweat, I think honestly, this would be a lot cheaper than trading for Myles Garrett. God knows what the contract's going to look like. I don't know what it's going to look like for draft compensation, then giving Myles Garrett an extension at 29 years old. Okay. You have the 32nd pick in the draft, which is great. And obviously, if you re-sign Josh Sweat, I think you're pretty much set. I don't think Josh Sweat's going to be one of those players that gets paid, starts to decline. I think Josh Sweat's just going to be better and better and better, and would love for him to stay here. Okay, realistically, the only moves that I'm looking for in free agency, and it's the bare minimum, okay, if they sign Baun, Becton, and Sweat, I think we're pretty much set. I think we're pretty much good to go. Okay. I'll feel very comfortable. That would be a very strong start for the Philadelphia Eagles on top of the draft picks that you have, because you'll get a top talent in the draft, whether you trade it back, you stay at 32, whatever the case may be. I think Josh Sweat would be a pretty good option to re-sign, let him play out for another 3, 4 years in Philadelphia. This way, that's locked up. Jalix Hunt is producing at a high. The last 2 games from Jalix Hunt in the playoffs, man, he has been really good. Jordan Davis, the last two games in the playoffs, the NFC Championship, Super Bowl, really good. Two brilliant sacks and holding down that line and not being moved at all. And Jalen Carr is an absolute menace, and Nolan Smith obviously has been just. I mean, he's only getting started right now. Adding Josh Sweat to the mix instead of making a trade for a big time player, it potentially could be cheaper. Now, if you guys do remember, Josh Sweat did talk about, okay, when they were cleaning out their lockers on Thursday, Josh Sweat did say, I want to be put in a good position. You know what I mean? He says, he's going to be a guy that's chasing money, but at the end of the day, it's got to be the right situation, because I think he's going to be one of those players that's like, man, I'm never going to have it this good. So maybe I could try to work something in the middle with the Eagles, try to work something out, and try to re-sign with the Eagles this offseason to stay here. Because, there's going to be teams that are going to pay him a lot of money, and it's going to be a lot of bad teams, and he knows he's going to go there. Some players don't care. Some players will just go there, get paid, go through the motions. But I think with Josh Sweat, winning is intoxicating, and when you just get that, and you feel like the Eagles can go for another time next season, the next couple of years, you got a good chance of making it back there again. So who knows? Josh Sweat might not be the highest paid edge rusher. There might be a medium kind of met in the middle a little bit between Howie Roseman, his agent, and Josh Sweat's agent going forward. So I am very, very open to a Josh Sweat re-sign. I'm not even kidding. Because then you can go into the draft and you could draft somebody else. And I think it'll be a pass rusher, a DT, an edge rusher. Could be, if they sign Josh Sweat and then Brandon Graham comes back, I mean, damn, you might just go after another DT in this draft. Who knows? So be really patient with this. So Baun, Becton, Sweat. Really, if they do those three, even Baun and Becton, I'll be comfortable. But if they added Sweat to the mix, I will be good to go and let Howie do the rest of it. And I feel like we'll go through this offseason pretty nicely at a really good pace. Okay. Now, I think one that I think is really interesting here, and I think we've already kind of talked about it. Okay. It was Darius Slay. Okay. Darius Slay has been obviously one of the best trades the Eagles actually have had in a while for a cornerback. And I think this has been his best year. He's looked like he's 25 years old. I mean, I'm not even kidding. He's looked really good, and hoping for big things. I'm sorry, I have to upload this picture because I don't know where it went. It like disappeared on me. But he's been absolutely fantastic. Cornerback 2 is going to be an interesting one going forward. Okay, Isaiah Rodgers is a free agent, and Slay has said, hey, I want to play for one more year. Okay, so whether you're going to trade him or he's going to retire, which it doesn't look like he's going to retire anytime soon. With this situation with an older player coming back for one more year, you want to make sure that Slay is coming back more hungry than ever. Am I really worried about his attitude coming back for one more year, and he just comes back for one more year and he's just comfortable and he just wants to go through the motions? And I don't think so, man. With a bunch of these young guys by his side getting better, we have to thank Slay for a lot when it comes to Coops. When it comes to Coop and what he's been doing, Cooper DeJean, and obviously Quinyon Mitchell. I mean, really, when Quinyon Mitchell was drafted, Howie Roseman wanted these two to be locked up in a room together 24/7, and kind of feed off of any type of knowledge that Q can get from Slay. So he's been a fantastic help when it comes to his development going forward. So I appreciate Slay being such a non-selfish person for that, which is awesome. So the price really has to be right with him. Okay. If it's not, they just got to let him go. They trade him. I don't know what it is. He's actually on contract still, but I guess they could trade him to wherever he wants to go or whatever the case. Maybe the Eagles get a draft pick for this year. It'd be great. A 5th rounder, 4th rounder, something. in the middle there for an old cornerback that still can play at a high level. I would have to say the only issue I have in re-signing Slay is he's been hurt a lot. He's been like, if you're gonna sign Slay, you got to sign Isaiah Rodgers back. That's how I feel. I don't know if Keely Ringo is ready for that backup role to the number 2 spot or whatever, the number 1, number 2, whatever the case may be. Okay, Eli Ricks is still developing. Obviously, he's had some starting experience. Keely Ringo, you know, downhill he's great. He's got the speed, but when it comes to his coverage ability, he's a bit of a statue at times. Getting turned around too slow, and we've seen it, but I need to see more. I'm not saying that I'm taking him off my list or Keely Ringo is nothing, but these guys will get hungry to compete for this number 2 spot since Q is the number 1 guy. So cornerback 2 plus a little bit of depth behind it, especially at inside corner behind DeJean. They need to get a promising guy behind him in case Coop has to be out a play or two or something like that. Maddox made a big play after coming in when Cooper went off the field for a second, made that big play on 4th down. I think that was the pass to that was the pass on the right side of the field, which was great. Led us to another touchdown there. So cornerback 2, cornerback outside corner opposite of Mitchell. Quinion Mitchell is going to be another interesting task for the Eagles going forward. Like I said, I don't think Oren Burks is going to cost much. I don't think Isaiah Rodgers is going to cost much. Realistically, he didn't play much this year. He's not going to get what can he guarantee? There's not much to really guarantee. He hasn't played much. He's gone in and played, but not much, So I think it all comes down to price with Slay. And if not, you bring Isaiah Rodgers back, you let Keely Ringo, and obviously you're going to add more through the draft. You'll add more undrafted free agents. You'll add more guys to compete in training camp and really, who meshes well to get that number 2 spot opposite of Q. So the whole Slay thing is going to be an interesting one going forward. So I think the Eagles are in a great spot. I mean, the Eagles just had their Super Bowl parade, which was absolutely fantastic. The big question is like how to repeat another year, where are you going to be satisfied? Because you can't keep everybody. So realistically, I think Milton is gone. I think realistically, you sign Baun, you sign Becton, and you get Josh Sweat on a re-sign. And I think you're going to be set. I think everything else will fall into place. The cap is going to go up, $272 million. I know there's like $9 million being rolled over for the Eagles into this year, so they should have north of $31 million, something like that, 32, which isn't that bad. I know the Eagles are going to restructure probably a couple contracts, okay? Don't worry about we barely restructure anymore. I mean, we restructure not as much as we used to because now we're drafting well, and once you draft well, you don't have to do that much. But when you want to free up some money, boom, you do that. You want to sign Josh Sweat to an extension. You want to sign Zach Baun. You give him a little bit of a bigger signing bonus up front and kind of less that salary a little bit to kind of make them a little bit comfortable getting some nice money up front and the signing bonus. So we'll see how it goes. Becton, Baun, Sweat, and I think everything else will it'll handle on its own. And I think I'll feel very comfortable going into that situation going forward. You guys let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about the Philadelphia Eagles. What are the moves that will make you comfortable? What is the number 1 priority re-sign? Because free agency is going to be re-signs. That's what it's about with the Eagles. The Eagles don't need that much. Mekhi Becton is really the only big free agent on offense we need to worry about. And defensively, yeah, we have some we have to figure out. But that's my opinion on it. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We cover the Eagles every single day. And definitely like the video. It helps out tremendously. Thank you for all the support. Definitely check out the Philly Shakedown merch in the description below. Order now. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes what up. Fly, slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.